Let's see if we can sneak up on the pigs. I bet they're under that cedar tree. I guess I interrupted their nap. Welcome back to Chubby Chase Farm. I appreciate you watching. I'm up here in the pig paddock today. And it has been exactly 1 week since I put these pigs here on the pasture. And I thought I would give you a look at exactly how I have the pig pasture set up back here. I'll throw the drone up and you can see exactly how the pasture is laid out. The enclosure is polywire. I have 4 T-posts at the 4 corners of the overall paddock. It then connects to an old extension cord where I connected 2 clips, and then the cord runs up here to my high tensile. And simply take the grip right here. Now electric's completely off, back on. My perimeter wire runs all the way down, touch across, and then back up. It is roughly almost exactly 1 acre that I have measured off here. I have then separated this acre into about 5 individual paddocks. And you'll see right here is the end of the first one. The line goes all the way to the other side, back up from the corner post we were just at. If you look right here, and you watched the last video when I brought them on the pasture, this is where I had the water. And I kind of indicated I thought it was going to be a problem, and it was. You see they have created a little bit of a wallow here. They were able to get into the water, they splashed it out, and then they, especially on a hot day, they created some mud and laid in it. But I think I have created a solution. I moved my water tank just down against this part of the fence. Same water tank. However, I have put a post and a post, and then just simply took a little piece of the polywire and connected it and ran it right across half of the water. And if you look here around it now, and it's been here for about 4 days, there is no wallow here. You'll see a garden hose that's laid out here. I am gravity feeding my water out of this 300-gallon IBC tote. I haul water in on the water wagon from the tractor. I can gravity feed into that tank. It gives me 300 gallons. I haven't had to fill it up yet this week. Obviously, when it gets hotter and I get more pigs, it'll probably go through it faster. But my intent would be to continue to run garden hose all the way down the paddock as I move and gravity feed right into the tank. I would like to get it to where I was able to put a float valve onto the tank and not have to worry about filling it. But right now they're going through so little water, it's not a big deal. You see how they drink. They're just come up here to the edge. They're staying away from the electric wire there. So I'm having to give them a little lift up. But that has definitely kept them out of the water. I took a chainsaw and then the bush hog on my tractor, the small one, 6-footer, and cleared out where my fence is. I did that all the way around. I also, on the 5 different separate paddocks you'll see here, I've also mowed out my strips of where my next fence would go as I move them into this area. I'm down here at the bottom corner of this paddock here. You can see there's the water. Maybe you can see it way back up there. But the trailer, the pigs are all way back up at the top. This is the bottom part. You can see my fence. Here's another one of my corner posts. And then the fence I have here. I think by the time I get to this point, it will be well into May. And if everything has gone well with the pigs and keeping them in, and I feel comfortable with it, I am probably going to extend my fence on down through here. There's a treat down there, and I'm gonna run it, and I'm gonna run these pigs through this. It'll start being the hotter time, a lot of shade, a lot of overgrowth, a lot of stuff for them to grub around and dig into. But I need to feel comfortable that my enclosure is holding them in before I do that. But that'll be later in May. That would be my plan. Here's what the pigs have done in a week. So they've been here a week, and we had rain the first night they were put in, and then we had rain again last night. And I'm at the very bottom end. Trailer and everything's back up here. You see they have done a fair amount of rooting around down here, right up to the fence line. This is exactly what I want them to do here. I'm going to come in, and the day before I move them out here, I will overseed it. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to use. I'd like to use some pasture peas, maybe some buckwheat, some oats. They've gotten very used to me. I'm about to the point when I holler for them, they'll come. That was going to be a key component, as I wanted to make sure if they got out, I would be able to get them back. Considering if they get out, they're going to be somewhere amongst all that. I'm hoping that don't happen. Here's a little feeder I built. It's out of some pretty heavy lumber. It's about 8 foot. It's working out right now. They can't move it. I have a hard time moving it. It works out good here until I find a bit more permanent solution. I'm debating whether I'm going to go to a self feeder. Definitely would make it easier. I do love the idea of being up here with them a couple of times a day. The fact that I can get out a white bucket and get them back if I have to. There's one you see them eating grass. There's one eating some grass. 7 days in on the pigs, or at least on pasture. They've now been here for 3 weeks. So far, excited, extremely excited about them. Besides sleeping, this is kind of what they do all day, which includes exercise, fresh air, sunshine, rain, bugs, grubs, grasses, legumes. Keep following along. We're not done yet. I expect the next video will be taking the chickens, 500 of them, out of the barn, out of the brooder, and on the pasture next week. So make sure you're subscribed and following along for that. As always, I appreciate all the support. You can find out more about us at chubbychasefarm.com. Have a great week.